Did you feel like, or do you feel like you're like a prisoner in your own body?
Yeah, I do.
Well,
I hope there is a life after death because I will be free.
hey, y'all, welcome back to Brain to Brain. I'm here with two fabulous guests. I'm here with Lynn, who suffered a stroke, and her caregiver, Shawnee, who is also her daughter. Welcome to the show, y'all.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
having us.
you for having me.
I'm happy to have y'all. So, Lynn, let's just start with the basics. How old are you? Where are you
I
from?
am, I am 66, I think, but like my 40s, I I forgot and I look like a drunk, but I have all my marbles.
I love that. You talk like a drunk, but you have all of your marbles.
Yeah,
Perfect. When did you have your stroke?
I was about December, about this time of year in 2020.
2020. Y'all, that was already a horrible year for everybody.
Yeah, it was.
And then we
I
tack on a stroke.
used to give them a hard time because they were treating me COVID, COVID. They were crazy for COVID. I thought it was a time to be lazy, and I called them on it.
Yeah, it was they shut the doors on Christmas Eve. Like my mom had had the stroke and it was catastrophic. It was in the brainstem. And so, we were told she was on life support and we were told there's nothing that they can do because they cannot access the brainstem. So they cannot stop the bleeding and they just have to allow it to bleed as it would, and it will stop if it stops and it won't if it won't. And so we just sat there. She's on kind of life support waiting to see what was going to happen. And on Christmas Eve, I went to go see her and they shut the doors and they said nobody in, nobody out. And we didn't get to see her for weeks and weeks and weeks went by where we didn't get to see her, and the caretaking was done on the outside of the hospital. We tried to go to the window to see her and that upset her. Eventually she did wake up, but we weren't nobody got to be there. It's kind of blurry like how it all happened because it was just such a whirlwind of terror. But yeah, unfortunately she didn't get the treatment that she deserved because of COVID. Everything shut down. She could have been in a pool and accessed, water, physio, and but it all just came to a stop, and she was just in a bed for weeks and weeks and weeks, just left to sit there because of COVID.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I am so sorry, Lynn.
But I persevered. I persevered.
Hell yeah, you
And
did.
I bitched at them, and they had to do it.
Yeah, you were feisty, and I think like she was her best advocate. I think like even though you couldn't really talk, you couldn't really, and also she's an indigenous, and there are some traumas that come with that too. And so being what she says, felt like she was institutionalized in this setting where it felt like she had no one on the inside but herself. Um, and so there's just a whole kinds of things happening probably in your brain. And I don't know. I remember like when she first woke up, like there was just like your eyes were like blurry. Like they don't look like they do now. Like they were kind of blurry and it shocked me because I was like, will you be like the same? Like what? And you weren't. Like we had to like on the outside learn the new person, like this new version of this person. And that came with, struggles of, because I didn't really know what to expect, like from I've never been in a situation like this, and so just kind of it was all new territory and struggle and hard and watching her go through it and being on the outside and not being able to do anything. I don't know.
So I was very alone.
You were, yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I
Such a
thought,
so
and go ahead.
no, I keep cutting you off. I'm sorry. Say that again for me.
I was very alone, and I taught them to get what I want. I always had to fight. I just stayed in a fighter mode.
And that's got to be so exhausting on top of having the stroke. You talked about being alone, and Shawnee, heartbreaking for you looking at your mom through the window of a hospital. And then, Lynn, for you being your only advocate. I think you're already in such a vulnerable situation. Your life's been flipped upside down. And now you have to keep, pressing the doctors or the therapists that come in and, hey, I need more work. For
Yeah.
me, I was fortunate enough to have my family show up. Granted, this was 2019, just before COVID, where they were able to come into the hospital. But I don't remember anything in the trauma ER, in the ICU. When I was interacting with doctors, I was conscious, but it was my short-term memory was so bad. And then you go to acute therapy, and it's still for the first 2 months, 3 months, I hardly remember anything. I can't imagine being in that state of mind and having to advocate for myself. So walk me through it. I mean, how did you do that?
Um, One day I thought, oh, God, you know what you have to do. Don't forget, I am a martial artist. So I am in my mind.
You're a martial artist,
Yes,
so you know karate chop.
but no, but I can do the physical anymore, but I still have the mental
You have the
I love
mental.
that.
of
Yeah.
martial arts.
You know what? The
And
doctors were lucky then that you weren't karate chopping them, getting their butt in shape.
well, I can't anymore, not like I used to.
Wow. So, Lynn, do you remember anything about the day when you had the stroke?
Yeah,
Walk us through that.
um, I was dating this guy, and I said goodbye, and I need to get undressed. I still had makeup done, and it was, I was, I'm sorry, I was thinking about it. I was trying to, I noticed a bad headache, and I noticed the left side went offline. I told the call 911. I said, but that time you get here, I will be out. Just come in. Don't knock. Just come in. I had to think ahead, and I had to be think about them, what they would do. I
So did you know what was happening?
I knew it was bad. I didn't know what, but I heard them say stroke, and then I know.
Wow. So the the telling sign for you was the bad headache, and then
Yeah,
you said something with your left hand.
Went offline.
my left leg, the left side leg, and I felt when that went offline, and I said to myself, I'll think about that later.
Wow. Think about that later,
Yeah,
man. And to be in the state of mind, feeling this coming on, to know you need to call 911. I mean,
yeah,
essentially, Len, you saved your own life by doing
yeah,
that.
I did. And
And
I've been just saving it ever since.
you've been saving it ever since. Yes, yes. Because Lynn, I don't, we just met today, but goodness gracious, I can feel the power through the screen. I mean, you have so much strength already. We were joking a little bit before we started recording, but I'm enamored by you. The perseverance and the tenacity that you've had for the last 5 years. Let's talk about that. So we're in COVID. Well, rewind. You have the stroke. Were you conscious when the EMT showed up, or were you unconscious?
Uh, Semi.
Okay.
I,
Do you remember the ride to the
I
hospital?
think, um, off and on.
Okay. And then when you get to the hospital, um, were you were you immediately worked on? Shawnee, you said they just had to let it breathe or bleed because they couldn't get in to the brainstem, which is an insane place to have a stroke.
Yeah.
Lynn, were you in a coma at one point?
Yeah, we're both, know, for both months or so.
A month or so.
I don't have a lot of memory of when after I got sick. I slowly came out of it about 3 months later.
Yeah, she was
Wow.
put on life support because in the brainstem, it just the way that it was described, and from what we understand, is that it just affects everything, every part, every single part of your being. And so breathing, she forgot how to breathe. So she went on life
Mm.
support, and in order to get off of life support, she had to retrain herself how to breathe again. And I swear to you, she worked on it. Like she used to have breathing tapes pre-stroke where she would listen to in the morning. She would have like her morning routine would be these breathing exercises that
Yeah,
she did. So I went home and I grabbed the tape. It was like you had it in like an old school tape. And so I brought it with her headphones, and I said to her while she was like on life support, I put it in her ears, and I said, because I was only allowed to be there for a certain amount of time at that time. And so I couldn't sit there with her all day and work on it with her. That's why I brought the tape. And I said, okay, I'm going to go, but listen to it. And it's 8 hours. So for 8 hours, practice the breathing and practice it from the diaphragm, not the chest. So when you're thinking about breathing, don't breathe from up here, breathe from your belly. And I'd watch her belly move. Like she would move her belly to try to like do it and practice it. I'd be like, good, okay, you have 8 hours. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you when they
Wow.
let me in for another hour, one person at a time. Um, so she trained herself how to breathe again.
I went to breathing seminars. She doesn't really know this,
No.
but there was a yoga club, and she got up. I used to go to David.
She had the knowledge.
I had the knowledge.
Wow.
Yes.
I mean, how crazy for you to already have these tapes that you were already working on before you had the stroke. You know, like what a great, I guess, stepping stone for you. You had this knowledge, and Shawnee, you have the idea of going to get it and then bringing it to your mom. She's on life support. Um, Responsive or unresponsive at that time? You said you saw her diaphragm or her, so like you could talk and there would, uh, were her eyes open?
No, but there were signs, like there was a tear that rolled down her face when we were talking at some point. The breathing, she did the breathing thing, and every once in a while she'd squeeze. Like
Mm.
when I talked to her about, there was some issues with some nurses, and she'd squeeze, and then I'd go and I'd take care of it. But um, and she'd try to escape. She'd try to throw her leg off the bed and try to escape. So she was at that point probably like semi-conscious. They were probably trying to like wean her off of like, you know, life support and get her going on her own. And so at different times there were sometimes she was more sedated, I think, than others.
I want to stick in this moment where, you know, it's you're giving signals to Shawnee. You're grabbing her arm. You're trying to escape the bed, which is hilarious because I did the same thing. I was mobile, and I mean the lights were on, but nobody was home. You know, I was able. My family would go to the cafeteria to get food because I was asleep. They would come back, and I wouldn't be in the bed. And you know, I guess at some point I went down to the ground floor in an elevator because they had taken my medical wristband and had put it on my ankle so I could blend in. But again, no memory of this, but it's something in us, Lynn. You and I, we didn't like being in hospitals. We're trying to escape.
Yeah. Well, I agree.
Do you? So okay, we come off life support, which is a feat in itself. Y'all, for the listeners, Shawnee, you mentioned this, the brainstem. Y'all, this is the connector between the brain and the rest of the body. And when Shawnee and Lynn were saying she had to relearn to breathe, yes, because those pathways were not being connected to the lungs to expand, to close. That is insane. You're here with us, Lynn. I mean, what a blessing. Walk us through. I know you said the first couple of months were really spotty, but when when the memories started to stick, where were you cognitively? You weren't able to talk?
I was in and out.
You don't really remember.
Uh, I said to them, look, you can't drive me around.
You remember the fighter feeling.
Yeah. And I remember you. And I remember your face say, just breathe. So I breathe.
Yeah, I remember when she woke up, they said, you know, we just have to see now what's left,
Mm.
what damage has been done, and she'll just show us. So we don't know if her left side will move at all. We don't know if she'll ever be able to eat on her own. Like she had obviously she had a tube feeding, um and so every day was like, what can we get back? And
Mm.
we were, I think at that time, almost naive, I think, if I'm being honest, like to what we could get back, because we were like, all right, well, we're just fighters. We're just gonna get her walking and we're gonna go. And especially Jen being, you know, around, and she's like Olympic mentality where she's like this, of course, we're just, you know, by this time next year we'll be on a hike. And, you know, we weren't really sure what to expect. just kind of hoping for the best and realizing that like the small wins were everything. Like for her to be able to, I remember she said, "Oh my gosh, the first thing you said to me when you woke up was you wanted strawberry shortcake." Actually, that's the first thing. Even though it was like broken and I couldn't understand, and but it was like you were just like shortcake or something. That was the first thing.
You had your
So just
priorities
like
right.
exactly, yeah, shortcake and your dog. You wanted to see your dog.
Mm. You,
Anyway,
you,
so yeah.
you talk about being naive with the progress and essentially having no guidance, no roadmap, which is so scary. My mom has said the same thing, right? We had doctors in the ICU saying, "Hey, don't worry, he'll be walking out of here next week." I was, what? I mean, people, I'm sure it's nice to have doctors that are optimistic and then also family members that are optimistic, but it really flips your life upside down. And Lynn, what you had was completely stolen from you through the stroke.
Yeah.
And Shawnee, you as the daughter, I can't even imagine witnessing your mom so vulnerable and unable to complete tasks that she used to do. And I'm going to ask you this, Shawnee, just because Lynn, you don't remember, but you talked about the small wins and saying shortcake, strawberry shortcake, her wanting to see her dog, even the simple touches. When did it really settle in for you that, wow, life is going to be extremely different for us?
Took a long time, I
It took
think.
a long time.
Took a long time. Yeah. It took if not years to kind
Okay.
of realize that it's going to be about the small wins, like her being able to do things that will give her more independence and imagining relearning and like even like the new just really learning her and having to navigate. I remember it sometimes being like frustrated because I didn't understand you. Like I just couldn't understand. And we would get frustrated with each other because she had come to my house. Um, and we kind of, Jen and I, my wife we had started this like, we called it was the Kish Camp. And we were just going to do this rehabilitation camp where she would work out with Jen and she would do music with me. But she was so sad. And that she couldn't do the things that she wanted to, and days where it was so hard to I'd be like, "Mom, come on, like you can do it, just let's go." And she was working through the mental part of it all that I couldn't see and I couldn't understand because I'm not in her side of her brain and I don't understand what's happening in there. Can only see out here. And so it took me years to learn that there's a whole other thing happening that I don't and will never be able to relate to, and to have more patience and understanding and don't push. Like I don't need to dream, I don't need to push, I don't need to make anything happen. Just go at her speed, go at her tempo and do it and support, just support and not push.
Mhm.
Um, which I think has been better for you know, just even the dynamic in relationship, especially with caretaking, but as a mother and daughter, but just yeah, just relearning. Like we're both like just kind of relearning
Mhm.
life.
And I think that's
I,
such a
I have three cats, and I kind of abandoned them, and my body kind of abandoned me. But I will never squander the gift of life.
You didn't
wow.
abandon us. You said you abandoned us,
Yeah,
like after your stroke.
I feel like I abandoned my kids
We don't feel that way.
because I'm not 30 there for them as a mother.
But you don't realize that I look up to you and you are the strongest person. I think like the hardships that I go through in my career or life or, anything that I face, and I look at her and I go, if she can do that, if she can do all of the things that I have witnessed her do. I thought she was strong before stroke, but seeing her go through that and fight through that and still become and still chase dreams and still, fight for peace and happiness and life and joy and her dreams. I can do my life. I can do it if she, because I've seen what it takes to really, really fight for your life.
That's what I wanted.
That's what you
Because,
wanted.
yeah, they lost their father when they were young.
Mm, mm.
I
So,
lost my husband when they were young, and I raised them myself. Thank God this never happened until later.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. First off, I'm so sorry, Lynn, to hear that you lost your husband, and Shawnee. I'm so sorry you lost your
It
dad.
was
And
over 20 years ago. No,
mhm, a long time ago, but it does. I mean, it shows your strength to be a single mom and raise your kids. And I can see from your perspective the statement that you made, where you feel like you let them down, right? Because you were the rock and like able to physically do stuff for
no,
them. But when you hear what Shawnee says, where now it's you're motivating them and they see your strength and your true grit, does that resonate? Can you truly feel what they're saying and
yeah,
embrace it?
I can. Yes,
Good. Do you the motivation that you give them, getting up every day, that's a small victory in itself. I mean, so many people in your situation may have quit, may have never left that hospital because of what was taken from you. Put us in your shoes, so I can understand, and so Shawnee can understand, if you're comfortable
yeah,
doing it, the daily challenges, what goes on inside your mind. Because I mean, I try to do it with my family and they'll never truly understand. We can talk until we're blue in the face, but talk about those challenges that you now face since suffering the stroke.
no. I used to like and bike and like really use my body, but no, I can't feel the left side, but I make it work as much as possible.
Good. You were you right-handed?
Yeah, thank God.
Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. So when you've obviously been through physical therapy,
And I continue it by myself.
you know, the challenges that I face, I feel like um it's like I had an identity crisis, right? The person before the brain injury, the person after. You talked about your physical lifestyle. You used to hike, you used to bike. And Shawnee, you had mentioned this, that early on in the recovery, you two would get frustrated with each other because, mom, do this, or you can do this. And then she's obviously trying her best, but there's a lack of communication because Lynn, you lost your ability to speak for a little while. You had to relearn to speak, right?
Yeah, for a long time.
How long did it take for you to learn to speak again?
It recently did I start to talk again because people were not able to understand me. So I didn't talk.
Now, was that out of frustration that you didn't, or embarrassment, or was it?
Environment,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
probably.
Lynn, hey, girlfriend, you're on a podcast right now, and I can hear you and understand you perfectly. So you remember that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Did,
you.
of course. Did you feel like, or do you feel like you're like a prisoner in your own body?
Yeah, I do.
What?
I hope there is a life after death because I will be free. But for now, I work every day to be the most that I can be.
Wow. Powerful words. Powerful words. I don't share this that often with a lot of people, and now I guess on the podcast, a lot of people will hear it. But you mentioned you hoping there is life after death. When I died on the freeway that day, I had a incredible encounter with my grandfather who had died 3 years before the crash, and then a father figure who had died 13 years before the crash. And the euphoria that I felt with their embrace and the comforting words, there is something after this, Lynn, and I crave that
So,
nowadays. Because there's something beautiful waiting for us, whatever it is, and that freedom that you mentioned, you'll get it. You'll be there. But damn it, Lynn, we're excited to see what you do while you're still here with us because you've been proving everybody wrong. I mean, you taught yourself how to breathe, girlfriend. Good
yeah,
Lord.
yeah.
Holy cow. What what does your day-to-day look like now?
I have a routine of getting up and writing. I do correspondence, then I write. I go down for meals. I come back. I go to the other desk and listen to a book and do exercises before I go down and eat.
If I can interject and say, I think the key to all her mental health and well-being that I have learned, is routine.
Mhm.
Routine, routine, routine. When you're like not sure of,
Yeah,
she knows what to expect. She knows what time the nurse is coming. She knows what time she's eating at, what time her pill goes, and it keeps her, I think, I don't know, but maybe from feeling
and
like,
thank God they're getting right.
and you're right. And she spends
Mhm.
every morning with creative time, and routine is very, very important to keep things regimented and timely so that you know what's next and what to expect and what you have to do
Yeah,
every single day.
it's very important.
Mhm. For the people that are only listening right now, my head was moving up and down so much it almost fell off because routine and structure are so important for my day-to-day life. The minute something goes off track, it's oh my God, I can't even explain it. Like it feels like life's ending. It is such a like I need that structure, the morning workout, and then when I eat, and I Lynn, I'd love to hear that writing has been so powerful for you. I have found it being a release for me as well to flush those emotions out onto a piece of paper, and everything that I feel inside to put it down, pen to paper. What do you write about? What can you
Don't
share
forget,
something?
don't forget indigenous. So I write about indigenous issues. I use characters and make them act out the uh, issues.
Interesting.
You
Okay,
make them
so
happen.
You write about, you said you have indigenous characters that you write about,
Yeah,
right? And that follows your lineage. You are indigenous, correct?
yeah.
Okay. Very important to keep that and to, educate others through your reading. Is that is that therapy?
Storytelling is how we teach. Storytelling is how we teach.
I love that.
Storytelling. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Shawnee, have you read some of her writing?
Yeah, especially recently, I finally opened up her blog site. Been working on her blog site. I created this platform for her because she would send me. I would ask her to send me her writing every day, and so she would recently send me some of her posts, and I thought you should post these. I think like you're working on it every day, and they're very interesting. And she's working on this. I don't
And
know if it's
really enjoying it.
Well, we're definitely going to have to get the link for that blog so we can share it with our listeners. So Lynn, you write every morning.
Yeah, I tell stories every morning.
Wow.
Uh,
So,
and I do exercise, go to exercise and trivia class every week, week day.
what a
But
great way to keep your mind sharp.
yeah,
Expelling that creativity and doing that physical therapy and
thank
listening
you.
to other people. So you wake up with this the spunk to go right and then to keep doing physical therapy and challenging your mind and building the structure and routine. Where does this fire come from inside of you to keep pushing every day?
Uh, that's a kingdom from as what starts to have. I got to keep going. And I tell stories now. Writing is more important than ever. So, because I can't tell a story without it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Do you feel like you communicate better through written words?
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
What when you
Whereas I used to talk, and now I write, and people tune in if they want to.
I like that. And I think you're going to get a lot of people that do want to tune in and read the stories that you've written. Shawnee, I have a question for you. So the stroke happened in 2020. Geez, almost what, 5 years to the date? You said it happened in December.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over these 5 years, what have you seen change the most in terms of progress? And I also, sorry, two part. You mentioned almost like fogginess in your mom's eyes in the beginning. Can you speak to that as well? And has that fog dissipated?
Oh yeah, for sure. The fog is dissipated. Yeah, that was scary. And again, it was so weird, like there was no one to explain that to us. Like, this is what to expect. This is what you'll see. This is what, you're gonna go through or she's gonna go through and you can support her in. Like there was none of that. So it was just kind of like I'd go in and she'd almost look past me, like, and her eyes were blurry, like there as if there was like a film on her eyes. Um and she couldn't sit up. So they would put her in a chair and she'd be practicing sitting up, but being over, like leaned over. And um, yeah, it was just, that was scary because You know what actually happened? So my sister, we found out my sister was pregnant while my mom was um in a coma. And the cake thing, she said the cake thing, but I don't know what day it was. It was very, very soon. She said to me, "Is it a girl or is it a boy?" And we didn't want to tell her the news yet. Nobody wanted to tell her because, we didn't want to make it about anything else other than what was happening in her world. So nobody had told her, but she had said, "Is it a boy or is it a girl?" And I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, is it a boy or is it a girl?" And I was like, "I don't." And I tried to change the subject because I thought, well, I'm not going to break my sister's news. She really wanted to be able to tell her at some point. So I was like, "I don't know. You're going to have to talk to your daughter about that." But it was the weirdest thing that happened. It was like, I don't know, like if I had to like explain it, it was like a part of the spirit or like brain or spirit that she had access to that wasn't like at the forefront, like it was just
Mhm.
something so different. It was so, so different. Um, I don't know. And then I can't remember what your other question was because I got too in depth, but
No, it's
um,
okay. It's okay. The second part of that question was the growth that you've seen over the past 5 years, from
oh my God.
yeah, seeing Lynn i- in a coma to now sitting with us and speaking and engaging in conversation. Talk about that evolution that you've seen.
She's still changing. Like it's amazing to see. It didn't happen. I think like the most important thing to note is it did not happen overnight. Like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, you're up and it's like little tiny tiny wins every day, like for you to be able to pick up your own pill and you don't have to wait for the nurse to come in, and if they're late, and you can put it in your own mouth and you can do that, which we know you get your high blood pressure medication when you need it, picking up a cup and taking a drink of water on your own so that you don't have to wait for anyone to do that. It's just the small wins, being able to navigate your own electric chair so you don't have to sit in a chair and not be able to move for long periods of time, and being able to stand up on a standing pole by yourself and transfer yourself was huge. Oh my gosh. In the beginning, when she had to wait for a nurse to go to the bathroom, it was like torture every single day because, well, of course, they're busy and they can't come right away. And sometimes 30, 40 minutes would come and she has to go to the washroom and accidents and all these kinds of things. It's like now she's able to do that herself. So it's like these small wins that happen that still happen every single day. And that's cool. That's really cool looking back on where you once were, when it first happened to now and seeing the big picture and not like, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
not trying not to like see it in tunnel vision.
Lynn, my mom always talks about, oh, Evan, you've come so far. You've come so far. I don't recognize that growth. Now, when you hear your daughter talk about that, are you able to see how far you've come since being in the bed in the hospital, where now you can transfer yourself, use your own chair and take your own medicine and you're writing? Do you recognize these gains?
No, I just keep going no matter what. I still have goals. Every time I set a goal, I set and beat a goal, I set another one.
Yeah, you do that. Yeah, that's key. That's
I've
cool.
always been like that.
Yeah.
Lynn, setting goals every day, I think, is so important, right? Something to strive towards and work towards. And I was an athlete my entire life, and that's how you continuously get better. And I'll call myself a perfectionist, where it'll never be good enough for me. I want to keep setting new goals. Would you say you carry that same mentality in your day to day life?
Yes.
Lynn, are you now you did a good job skirting the question, but I do want to bring it up. Are you proud of the progress that you've made? Can you take a look in the rearview mirror and say, well, damn, I've done a pretty good job?
We don't want to do better, but there are moments I feel it that I have come a way, but I have a ways to go.
Good, good. Well, I'm glad you take some moments to reflect on the wins that you've had, because that is so important. And as an outsider looking in, I'm flabbergasted by what you've been able to do in this, now I say short amount of time, but 5 years is a long amount of time. But goodness gracious, the strides that you've made. What what would you tell somebody in a similar situation, or just with a brain injury in general? What would you tell them? Um, yeah, I guess that's it. What would you tell them to motivate them?
First of all, I would tell them not to give up, and second of all, look at Reese Norman Deutsch.
Read Norman who?
Deutsch. He said German. Deutsch.
Torch?
Dutch?
So, with D-O-I-G.
George.
D-O-I-G.
D-O-I-D. What does that spell?
J-E. Deutsch.
Oh.
Which that's his last name.
Norman
DOI.
Deutsch. Yes. I
Okay.
D-O-I-D. J-E-G-E. Deutsch. He's a German. Read the books he wrote.
Has that been a
And
source?
yeah, because they did.
Has that been a source of motivation for you? Is reading those books?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't, it's I've done several of these episodes, and I think the overall consensus that I've heard from other individuals that are like-minded to you is don't give up.
Yeah.
And
Don't give up.
it's so important. And to echo what Shawnee has said, it's those little wins, those little victories, that you and I, Lynn, often overlook, where it's never good enough for us. Um, but I think
But
that's something. Say that
that's
again.
how you improve. That's how you improve. By always trying and never settling.
Never
That's
settling.
all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so true. What if you could? We're going to rewind the clock. I love asking this to people on the show. We're 5 years out from your brainstem stroke, which is crazy. If you could go back in time and talk to yourself on day one, what would you tell Lynn in 2020 in December? What would you tell her?
Don't give up on yourself. And I am a beer. Life has good.
You said life
Life,
is good.
life has good.
Life has good.
True life.
Choose life.
Yeah.
There
What?
are things that are valuable. You don't know. I that thing, but you will. It's valuable to go through different things. You never know what good you're doing someone.
Wow. You know, outsiders looking in, I think would be so impressed to hear you say those words, right? Given the circumstances that you battle every day, where do you, when you wake up in the morning, where do you grab that? Where's that positivity drawn from? Is it as simple as, like, oh, I get to see the sun today, or what is it?
Um, basically, I'm gonna go on no matter what. I'm not gonna give up because who knows what's out there. I just got what you said.
Hell yeah.
I'm not gonna give up.
Mm. And it seems like, well, doesn't seem like, I
No,
know
no,
that you have a good support system behind you too. And I think that that really helps as well. I don't know where I'd be without my mom and brother. They've really encouraged and supported me along the way. And Shawnee, it's evident that you've got your mom's back regardless. And for you to step up as a caregiver is huge, and very, very selfless of you. I really hope, I know we do have some caregivers that listen. I really hope they dial into what you said in the beginning, because it was so powerful. It's those little wins, and it's supporting your loved one through the tough times. And yeah, there's going to be frustrating moments, but that's when you really have to take a step back and take a deep breath and know, we're in this together, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think like the biggest thing I learned, and it has made things so much more peaceful, even in my own psyche, is that I just have to be there for her the way that like she needs me, not the way that I think she'll need me, or not, because I actually don't know any better. I really had to learn that the hard way, and just try to be there the way that she needs me, the support that she needs. Like one of her dreams are to ride a recumbent bike. And so when it's not winter and things warm up, that's the plan for when the weather gets better here. So we'll explore. She's been doing lots of research on it and just kind of explore what that looks like. And in my mind, I have some plans as to how to see that through, and hopefully be able to see her on a recumbent bike next summer in some way, shape, or form. We will get it done.
Good. And we expect when that does happen, I expect videos and pictures so we
Definitely.
can share it with the Brain to Brain and Toro and Tides community. Lynn, have you been able to find uh, a support group in a sense, or other people that can relate to what you're going through? Again, every brain injury is different, but where you are right now, have you reached out
no,
to anybody?
no.
Do
I
you
think about,
say that again? I'm sorry.
I think we right now they're old. Some lady asked me the same thing every day.
You're just talking about the community you're in right now
Yeah,
at the assisted living.
yeah,
Yes, she did. I think like yeah, you have a hard time relating to the people you're surrounded
they're
by now.
old.
Yeah. We did try like support groups and stuff that didn't we tried even therapy. That's never worked
Mhm.
for either one of us, to be completely honest. We've never really been too keen on that. Not to knock it for anyone else, but it's
Mhm.
just I don't know. I think we have a lot of trust
Yeah,
issues. We have
and
traumas
I'm
and things.
alone there.
It's hard to trust new people, I think, for us, and I think that that's something you did struggle with,
And I'm alone there.
and you're a loner for sure.
Mm.
Me too.
I completely understand every aspect of what you just said. Tough to confide in strangers, like whether it's therapy, but it does work for some people as well. And you said you're a loner, correct? I don't want
Mhm.
to. Yeah, I'm a loner as well, and I have tried support groups. I did find that there is a bit of an age gap in some of those support groups as well, which is tough to relate to those stages in life. But I will say a caveat to that. I did start Toro and Tides to build a sense of community where, Lynn or Shawnee, if you are, having just a tough day, you can always reach out to me. or the community of Toro and Tides. Again,
Who
we're just building
who is
relations
that?
and friends. Say that again.
Who is Charles and Dice? What is it? Charles and Dice.
So Toro and Tides is that's the company that I started. It's an apparel company that is built on educating people on brain injuries, and we sell clothes, and 10% of all profit is going to be donated to somebody to get the care that they need, who suffers from a brain injury. So that's the ultimate reason why I started the company, is to support the community and to educate, and
Oh, wow.
and just to um, reach the hand across the aisle, or whatever that saying is, where I found you, Lynn, which is amazing. I don't think I ever would have found you if I hadn't started this company. And, Shawnee, you had mentioned there was no clear path or roadway when this journey began for the two of you. But that was also another reason why I started this, is because my mom felt the same way. And it's to connect caregivers as well, where they can share tips or tricks, or what they found was the best for certain treatments. So that's what Toro and Tides is, and that's why I'm so thankful that I was put in contact with y'all, because Lynn, I know you're a loner. I'm a loner too, but our conversation doesn't stop here today. You can guarantee that I'm going to be reaching out to you through Shawnee. You guys, I'm not going to bombard you with text messages, but it's important for me to keep up with the progress. And by golly, I want to know when you ride that recumbent bike.
I do want to touch the whole event to ride that recumbent bike, and they are supportive here.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. To end this conversation, to wrap things up, is there anything that I missed, or anything you would like to share to the community? And this goes for the both of y'all. Um,
If
Shawnee, if
you
you want to,
want to hear good stories, go to www.linsherry.com.
Good plug. Nicely done.
damn, okay, I love that.
LynnSherry.com.
I
Yeah,
I
that's where her
will.
blogs are. LynnSherry.com.
Aside from plugging the book, Lynn, okay, we're gonna plug it. Is there anything else you would like to say? One final statement for the brain injury community.
Don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
Don't let that precious gift.
Yeah. And I think I would add that I definitely learned in this life through this experience and my own experience that sometimes pain really has power, and like what, anyone struggling, going through it, it might not make sense in the moment with those, zoom in goggles, but zooming out, you can turn your pain or your struggle or what you go through to help someone, as you are doing. And I'm sure your family is so proud of you and how far you've come, and any of your listeners who feel that sense of alone and struggle, that there's a purpose and a reason. I truly do believe that. Um, and so just to encourage, not to zoom in too much, and expand yourself so that you can see from a bird's eye view, from an eagle view. You can see, you can see that view of the power that you can do with your struggle, and how that can change someone else's life. And maybe it's not even about us individually. I don't know, but I think that's one key thing that has gotten me through, us through, the dark times.
Mm. True wisdom from a caregiver and a brain injury survivor. Y'all, it has been incredible speaking with the both of y'all. thank you so much for coming on to Brain. I am
Thank
forever
you.
grateful, and we're excited to see where you are in the next year. So by golly, we are going to keep up with each other. But I'm so appreciative that you guys came onto the show. Thank you so much. Listeners, go check out Lynne's blog. I'm going to post it with the story, and keep kicking butt. Life is precious, like you said. So have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Awesome. So good to meet you. Thank you.